Right now.
Settle down. Be sanctified.
Come on out. Right here.
As one with wind and cloud.
Paimon coming in! Paimon coming in! Is this level okay? Can you hear Paimon? I've been waiting for you for...
Once, there was a glorious kingdom established among the heavens. From that kingdom,
Roll!
Silence.
Emerge. Right now.
Now for a little rest after breakfast. Wait a sec. Isn't something important supposed to happen today? Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on, we've got to go complete the release procedures now!
Is it time for a magic show?
Who's our target this time?
Sooner we're done?
Welcome to the Fortress of Meripede, dear esteemed guests.
We're back! Oh, and a greeting from none other than the Duke himself! Guess we made a name for ourselves at this place.
This isn't anything new. Let's assume we've gone through the pleasantry. I do remember a thing.
Who does this guy think he is?
He once attempted to, I said. To be honest, Domenico doesn't seem like much of a conspirator. The fact that the three of you bothered to personally investigate raises a flag.
He's got the same concerns we do.
I'm concerned about this incident because something similar has...
That's an easy one.
Oh, did I hear someone say Melazine? What happened? Siegeween! Yeah, and we're... Really?
There's no need to worry.
Well, that's great. But if the criminal's still... Is there anything you can do about this?
Ah, head nurse. Do you require me to personally deal with the criminal?
Wriothesley,
Okay, I get it. I'll bring...
think of it as more of a humble request. Thanks for the trouble.
Whoa! If Paimon were the...
Well, were I still a criminal, I'd probably ask... But enough jokes. Make yourselves at home.
Please come with me to the infirmary. And watch your step. There's some pretty dark areas.
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately upon signing, and you two may exit the Fortress of Meripede via the regular channels.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Let's hurry up and...
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks. But I wonder what that tremor was just now.
Let's go ask the Duke.
Step on up! Over here! Yeah!
Did Nervillette just walk by?
Now that I think about it, I can leave this place soon. Huh?
for a moment. Oh, and would anyone like anything to drink? Thirst is a warning sign. I'll bring you some tea. Typical Siege. Why aren't you two saying anything?
You noticed them too. The badges.
Familiar, but if both of you say so, let's go ask them.
That's not a bad idea.
Anything you need? Oh, this?
What's that?
We have a very long history. We have never had many. Helping each other is our purpose.
Sounds like a pretty neat org.
All we want is to defend ourselves. None of us have ever committed serious crime, but people won't give us a hard time if we stick together.
You two look. It's the symbol of the mutual. From what I've heard, it's based on something called a Medal of Peace. I've never seen one of those. The first president, all of us have a.
Interested in joining? If you'd like to learn more. Our slogan may have evolved. Here, this...
We should have gathered enough information. Let's head back and talk to Neverland.
You can't run!
Did you manage to gather any intel?
According to them, the back...
I personally... Carol's medal...
Oh, so the network... Monsieur Neverland, His Grace has requested your presence in...
All right.
Judgment!
Allow me to introduce this. Why don't you explain everything?
Neuvillette?
Calm down. I merely... Was it your idea to... Hassan has all...
That idiot...
Let me ask this and... Who is pulling...
What? You're not...
It's best. I assume your previous attempt to incite unrest at the Fortress of Meripede has something to do with this as well.
I admit...
I can do that.
You see, we're all reasonable people.
I only intended to do... After making a few trips, I was suddenly approached by the Marishos, but I refused to
And then you decided to take...
My initial target was... But for some... In the end, I had to I recall that Kiara... But the letter was in fact addressed to Essa. I requested that he write a threat letter to Kiara and force it to resign from the Marishose Phantom.
Am I to assume that the claims you've made are your own thoughts? Have you been in contact with any suspicious people recently?
No.
Is it true that all members involved in the smuggling scandal have been caught?
Yes. And that's all I know.
Sigewinne, please take him back to the detention center. I'll deal with him later. So, Monsieur Neuvillette, you were concerned that there might be a shadowy faction looking to capitalize on the delicate situation with the Melazines to stir up greater chaos?
Yes. I experienced a similar incident in the past, so I had to be prepared for any possibility.
And how long ago was this incident?
More than 400 years.
You might be overthinking this. Time can change a lot of things. Everything's different now.
What do you mean?
400 years ago, you and the Melazines you brought to Fontaine were the outliers in society. But in the present day, if someone were to threaten the safety of the Melazines, people wouldn't just sit back and do nothing. I trust that they would make different choices from before.
That's right! We saw lots of people standing up for Melazines on our way back to the Palais Mermonia.
Monsieur Neuvillette, the Melazines are a species you introduced to Fontaine. How the public treats them is also reflective of their attitude towards you. When people refused to place their trust in Melazines, it was because they were still on the fence about you, their unfamiliar Chief Justice. For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time, regardless of whatever nonsense went on. People no longer have any reservations about you and even consider you a symbol of the law. Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words, you've gradually transformed the whole nation.
Paimon gets it now. No wonder no one wanted to join forces with Domenico.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, I have simply been fulfilling my duties. It isn't anything special or worthy of praise. I'm simply fulfilling the promises I've made and searching for answers through my judgments. It is unnecessary.
There's no need to be so modest. You're no longer the—
I must say that thank you for clearing my doubts.
Huh? You're leaving?
And so soon, too? Why not stay for a cup of tea?
Thank you for the offer, but I know how this place works all too well. While some are here to redeem themselves, there will inevitably be those who harbor resentment towards me. The less time I spend here, the better. My presence could very well result in an unwanted disturbance.
In that case, I'll have to insist. I still have 2 more things to say.
Please, go ahead.
The first is about the guard who helped Domenico send that letter.
I know of what the guard was indeed deployed from the Palais Mermonia staff.
Well, that makes things a lot easier. Hey now, don't let your imagination run wild. Those from up there, I'll have a chat with the guard.
I see no issue.
Great! That's what—
The other thing was born from my own sense of curiosity.
Yep. Neuvillette thought they're bad.
I noticed the small gang as well when I've looked into their founder, according to existing in other words.
What? During his trial.
Perhaps he had
An act?
Neuvillette and thus, and to those who had been. That's all from me.
I don't have. Well then.
Please, take care.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind, as if urging me on to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words. How should I describe it? Surprise, relief, fear, and regret. But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts, too. What do you think of me?
Paimon agrees with everything Risley said. As Chief Justice, every single one of your trials makes an impact on Fontaine. What do you think, Traveler? Hey! Any comments?
What I really think is... every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you. And that's what makes you who you are today.
That is indeed a reasonable assumption. As I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. These changes were not due to any specific... I will try to contemplate this further. Thank...
Oh. Huh? It's raining! Oh no! Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Meripede. It's a good place for me.
He owes me so many answers.
Neuvillette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close eye on him, so the Melusines should be safe now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sorry for dragging you.
There's no need to apologize.
Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved.
At the Palais Mermonia, more than 50 people offered to protect her. I was worried that the excess of
Well, now it looks like to celebrate the...
That's not how...
I will... Of course. Come up with questions.
Yes! Thank you!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to publicize our investigation. I hope it will Kiara? It's quite all right. I'm here to tell...
Thank you, monsieur. And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis...
Do you remember Domenico?
Let me think. By the way, in my dream, I can't remember...
I can sense your...
Oh, I almost forgot. I promised to model for Alov.
Of course.
See you next time, monsieur. Traveler and Big Sis Paimon.
See you next time.
Ah, good to see you two.
Yeah, what was with the earthquake?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs...
So the fort...
If you recall our...
Huh. Wait, seriously?
Aha, yes.
Yep. It's you two. That's right. Today is our last day in prison. But, oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of this place now. Then be sure to...
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go.
You're not going to see...
I knew you'd...
Well, you actually...
Ah, so you do...
After being down here for so long, I imagine... Yeah, don't worry.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best. Well, it seems our work in the... We should probably... You're going to see Monsieur Nervilette?
I'm sure just you...
Hmm.
You're right.
Judge me!
I have to keep an eye on the deployment of guards.
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two.
Excuse me.
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here. You can see...
Everyone's so busy. Seems a lot has been happening.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment. as there are some urgent matters I must tend to first. In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink, let the Melusine outside know.
That's all right.
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to...
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede, and it appears that you've managed to complete all the release paperwork.
That's right, and we came here to see you right away!
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters, but rather something like the primordial sea. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we can only assume that Child is presently immersed in primordial seawater.
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how? And is he okay?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! Paimon felt it too! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we figured you might know something about it.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what I was busy with a moment ago. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the shaking stopped, the water levels in the Poisson area rose at an alarming rate.
The water levels rose? Oh no! What about all the people there?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already returned to normal now. However, I still have a bad feeling about the whole phenomenon. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than it appears.
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check on her!
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately formulate disaster prevention plans for the surrounding coastal areas to avoid potential catastrophes. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation once I finish things here.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Oh no! What happened here? Navia should be around here, right? We need to make sure she's still... Paimon means we need to check on her. We haven't seen a single soul all the way here. Oh, this is...
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's some...
Just stay put. We're coming up. Watch your balance.
All right, just hurry.
I'm not young anymore. How will I survive on my own?
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened?
Just hang in there.
She's over there! Hey, Navia! Are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in Poisson, so we came as quickly as we could.
Yes. As you can see, the water level suddenly rose. It caused quite the disturbance, in fact.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety, but we've run out of medical supplies.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof. Once the water receded and he saw the
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take—
Understood.
All right. You'll— I'm sorry. Where were we?
The situation in Poisson?
Ah, right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. But before we knew it, water started pouring out from everywhere. The rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Some people didn't realize the danger and thought it was just ordinary water, leaking from somewhere. Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. As the water levels rose, they suddenly disappeared. They were all dissolved. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured in the stampede, and some— The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But the water that flooded— No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now is try—
How awful.
It was quite frightening indeed.
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for—
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And off she goes. Seems it might be a while before she can take a break.
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just arrived, so I suppose I finally have a moment to focus on my own matters. Of course, traveler.
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
Surprise!
lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation in Poisson, Paimon doesn't think there'd be a ton of people here visiting graves.
Right. That's how things are now. The living are so exhausted that they've no strength to spare any words for the dead.
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver. They won't ever come back here again.
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but they were helping evacuate the residents, but they couldn't leave in time. And they were caught in the seawater. I've known them for... I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just... gone.
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that.
I can understand.
See, it's not just...
How could... Yet the...
Buying yourself a plot in advance?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it'll save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered Master's closest companions, no?
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd promised to let... I'm sorry for letting you see me in a...
Paimon does...
I'd always thought Malus and Silver... I'm so...
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia.
By the way, you can have a look at this.
Oh, Berna, so...
It's okay. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Malus and...
You're right. What you said just now...
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave? What are you doing here?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes. My people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated, and as for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no...
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you two...
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navia?
Thanks to the knave.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was... That said...
My subordinates...
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. As I've told this travel, lending your organization a hand was a natural
Without your help...
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver. I only...
Don't say that. As Paimon, I've never...
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster. It's no wonder that people always say that prophecies represent fate. Fortunately, I've never been one for such opinions.
So, you're one who will try to change fate, then?
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just... Huh? This isn't right. Paimon thought you would ask us to walk with you for a moment so you could tell us something in private.
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Miss Navia listening in. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the fortress of Meripede Sluice. Indeed, during some recent judging by my people initially.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been dispatched to higher ground to assist affected residents. Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you. Which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such, even though you are not from the house. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their friendship with you.
Oh!
The intel I just...
Got it! So...
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss...
But are you sure you're up to explore...
Well, there's no point. Besides...
Since you put it that way, I have no objection. All right?
Okay.
You can't run!
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about? Whoa, talk about old.
They seem to be pretty ancient, all right.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Right here. Emerge. Right here.
Bow your head.
Emerge. Right here. Right now.
Share my knowledge. This way turn a little.
Settle down.
Right here.
Commit it to memory. This place has also been contaminated.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment.
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be... don't get my wrong. We're not saying...
No, you're right. That complicates things. Maybe the only way left is forward.
In that case,
the water... I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just...
All right. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Into the wind. Time to go. Time to go.
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge.
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark if I hadn't...
Maybe she just wa-
Oh.
Yes, it...
That's quite
This is...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no, I was just trying to...
Do you remember, Miss...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too. I've been great. Thanks to your help. They were knocking at my door day and night.
Sometimes...
Oh, yes. One moment, Miss Navia. These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what...
Did you...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs. Burnett's flowers.
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be off here. Excuse me, Matt.
That's right.
No, it's nothing. I've heard... And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle.
Huh? We do?
Well, now, did you forget?
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking... My trial? Wait, well...
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about time now, so...
Oh?
Look, it's Navia. She's here.
And her 2 attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to... Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. Why are... And as for the judge... huh? Where's Monsieur Neuvillette?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But Are you sure you can stand behind me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today is an exception.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on. Do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering! Could someone...
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? As all here know, you, after you took not only you... Yes, correct. We are one big family. Therefore, this...
Huh? Everything you have said is correct.
Oh, well...
How wonderful, Miss Navia!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now. Yes, I get it. This trial is...
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's guilty!
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing of her utterly independent mind.
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed, even the death of Master Callus couldn't stop her.
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. She merely... Please do not mistake her actions as being otherwise.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the nation of justice, the nation of Hydro. Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul must return to everyone. Water accepts all, blends with all. It will surely accept her kindness. Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro, and in the end, everyone shall meld together. Thus, when a unanimous opinion emerges, that opinion represents justice. Now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay. We and Navia are one.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to exist as an individual. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed to become individuals, to become independent?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver and I shall defend Demoiselle. And that is how we will enforce justice.
My head... It hurts.
Demoiselle.
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. All I can see is stars swirling in front of me. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd from the very beginning. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect you to the very end.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation of trials, the majority is absolute justice. We are the will of all. Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective?
Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses.
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us.
Miss Navia, she...
Silence!
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place. What, can't bear to leave us behind or something?
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be our last goodbye.
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now!
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they were defending me at some insane trial.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare? Paimon could give...
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, you were just about to be dissolved within, but I...
What is it?
I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids...
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so... Oh, Paimon knows...
I merely thought that we should...
Huh?
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne.
No way, don't...
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that Sigewinne would...
Oh, and the Duke...
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope...
He's still... So, Neuvillette...
Yes, in fact. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the nave, and we had...
Yeah!
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Oh, right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
Go! Right here. Emerge. Commit it to memory. It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Time to go.
Yeah. Everyone hold hands.
Right now, right here.
Let the mighty be humble.
Emerge. Right now. Emerge.
One with nature. Share!
The Temple of Wisdom.
Nothing lasts forever. Right here.
Clouds high. The birds come.
Silence! Be sanctified.
Dada Kundala. Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place? There should not be any other hidden space.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as an offering. Could we take them down and have a look?
Perhaps we should just leave them be.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is missing.
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future here in its past. Say what?
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose.
That would fit the circumstances dictated.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people behind her doing the same. She's facing this... what is this? Some kind of island in the sky?
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her? Paimon doesn't...
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just look. This says that it's the history of the future, right? Still.
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third, where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies, as if confessing a sin.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their...
But who would have...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from...
In that case, there's no time...
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina.
You still have energy?
Just head back.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work. Traveler, I will go talk to... I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office.
Are you really gonna talk?
She has long been harboring...
All right.
I will be carefully considering...
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is always open to you, as ever. So please don't think you're an All right.
We're finally back!
Welcome back.
Yay! And there's good food too! Paimon's already starting to...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian, are you, Mona?
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Quite. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadt surname?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it...
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of...
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name. Wait!
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a lot.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the...
Thrice as great? That's so...
I know, right?
Talk about excess.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not fun...
Well, I was born.
Oh, that's a...
There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. The invitation was sent quite...
What do you make...
What I can tell, I'm afraid, but on the flip side...
A visionary?
Of course. The old hag could do it.
Huh?
Hmm.
Thanks, Mona.
Oh, well.
That's the greatest of...
Indeed, indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with... Right, But we were able to recruit Mona's help, didn't we? Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling. But it's time to get up.
You're here! Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little... It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. And I will not have... I will say this once more. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon.
I don't. I've never...
I'll ask you, my deciphering of the
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but...
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange you have never been a...
Well, since you know about my secret investigation, there's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my... Just trust in me. That's all I have to say. We do not... Oh! The opera's about...
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what...
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed! Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced. We may have to create a situation in which she will...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions.
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to... This may be cruel to her, but all font... But who will then...
Well, that's everyone. Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a
And here you are drinking tea.
That's what family should do.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a...
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No, I don't think I can.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's...
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a...
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you...
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components. So, if we were...
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and...
You use some of those techniques while...
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker, if I do say so.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong...
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion...
I remember that you...
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear...
That makes sense. But I do have one... If we were to create... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also...
Wait...
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually... But we shall require much more courage than...
Oh...
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon... it's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just... Then what? Paimon's never seen that...
Don't be frightened. Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus came to you. Guiding people is an irresistible hobby of mine, after all. Consider me a passerby. Just the prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesized will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Ah, so you've caught just as prophecy are the things that you shall see.
What is...
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately,
The voice. Alright, Kami! Hey, it's you!
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively
Luna!
Fine, just not all fun.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support.
That's right! Paimon...
Ah, yes. About what... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god...
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary, but I've never...
Whoa.
Their abilities alone...
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't... Perhaps it is something... Traveler?
Oh, we're fine.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has a... But even so, perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. I did originally think of...
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff... Oh, I need to get going. It was worth trying to... I suppose that...
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. Let Paimon see. The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. But that does not mean that others cannot enter. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report? A blonde adventurer with their white fairy legends trailing in their wake. So while the fortress journalist Charlotte... Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fort... Ugh, seriously? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go! I'm sure it'll be great!
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia!
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It's...
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right, even he.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No, it's the same for...
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijui.
Oh, you know Sijui?
I sure do. She said that human... I've got something else to do, so
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be... It's more delicious. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about?
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the
Really? Oh, Paimon knows.
Still, what bring...
When Mona mentioned...
So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary Traveler and Paimon?
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh, that's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have it from what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping. Just think about it. If this nation really were to... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that... I'm not a dreamer, nor... But anyway...
That's so not... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do? We've always been moving to the next destination. You mean... still... Huh. Feels like it'll grow, but it's still good.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
Oh, you're from the Palette?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur... Not... yes.
A riot?
Well, that Lady Farina loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, the crowd continued to grow and protest against the hydro...
So people have...
I agree.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, the Marechaussee Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone.
So, you mean she's...
That's right. The Marechaussee has That said, I don't think there's much good.
Don't worry. This is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And as we also know, she made... When Nervalet was... It would be hard for... Paimon thinks for... Huh! Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the In that case, there's... This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. It's just... Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tears? Oh, and I'm sure Nouvelle...
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are?
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch... This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding...
What?
Hurry, they're almost...
Fine, I suppose. can't be.
Well, there's no need.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson. It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding info. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. Anything to keep it. All my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine, no matter... Give up, indeed. I've thought fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any...
Come on!
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated... A witness. And if to...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed.
So do not forget, however, that...
May I interpret these words as your refusal? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a...
You would draw your blade... I see. It seems like you have made up...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina.
Shh! It would seem that there had...
Looking for excuse.
I raised my hands. I will admit, I'm sorry. You are not. But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world. This time, I will applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine.
Woohoo! Oh, no. Why does it feel like Farina just... Also, even though she's still acting...
All right, then. Who...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula.
Navia!
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes, and the people's resentment again. Moreover, according... So
you mean...
And their goal was...
That's right.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot...
So, in other words...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to...
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's part. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, also that...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Cloran,
Thank you.
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me... You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once... Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this...
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass. This is a document that Miss Charlotte...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here to... Oh, let Paimon see. Oh, what? So in other words, we can refer to this... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro... This is the first time, Monsieur... A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. According to Monsieur Nervilette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Just fast forward, of course. It is only natural.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct instead. I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine...
Yeah, even though...
Yeah, I've never questioned her...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon, and see? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me it if you wished.
An argument with...
Well, and if I...
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your...
Who gave you that idea?
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what...
You sensed it too, huh, Nervilette?
Lady Farina is actually...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart. Just...
Well, don't start. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have... One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse.
referenced the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is while the court, you will prove your... That was no trick of...
So, you neither knew why Child, instead of having...
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
My power...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive, thus did I...
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. I'm still pleased.
If what the prosecutor said...
Did she deceive all...
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real... If you have no...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems... that doesn't sound right. Paimon... It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to...
Miss Navia, please apply to serve...
Super sorry. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. So, if we are to believe that you are... But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler Navia from the
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human...
Lady Farina,
Well, of course he had to...
She's just...
What's going on?
Due to the inherent...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, Will you
Miss Siegeween?
Siegeween?
Don't be nervous. It'll... That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial...
Thank you, Miss Siegeween.
Oh, wait. What did...
Well, however, after extensive discussion, we don't want...
Yeah, so it's a great...
I can't... Listen to me, everyone. Think about it. Also, if I was Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to... According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse caught in...
Well, what's wrong?
No, the Oratrice also displayed...
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, to be punished via...
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
Farina's been...
This outcome is... Is this sentence real?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't...
Indeed. But now...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it!
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find...
I looked everywhere, but has the trial already concluded?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of... However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to...
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show... Does that mean that the second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together? This must be the point when the third slate shows the... Well, the fourth slate is the... We didn't believe that such a...
We know from the and the first stone slate tells us that long ago the Hydro Archon used her power to turn Oceanids into humans. This might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve. Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened, and it's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, the fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with If we hadn't dealt with it in time...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's... but...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often the most
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the water. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. However, while you were able to decode all the information when we were at the ruin, now that the slate collection is complete, I believe I should share this truth not only with you, your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Arch. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how...
So you...
That's way too much information. Wait, but if that's the truth...
This really...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the a key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the they have not been dissolved. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the Court of Justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. In truth...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate?
Traveler, I would like to point out another about the fourth slate. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small war. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that.
The truth, the original sin.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw?
So we've met it at last. I understand that whale it has been greedily, and once it is finished.
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians out of a...
Precisely. That whale therefore, when it left the primordial sea...
we just...
That is correct. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. Anyway, now that we know that this whale...
It is too late. It had already... Even if the entire...
That's not something... We've come...
Indeed. I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Just as ultimately,
What's happening with the aura trees?
I believe It is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face.
You are not Farina.
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the...
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance. The heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principle?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than... She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I had to out... I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand.
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is... After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. Anyway, so then, all part of the Do you still remember the fun? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god. I suppose now you probably understand why.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she...
It has indeed. And it's been 500, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
The wind knows me.
Show them. Emerge, right now.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract... I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and nobility.
Right here.
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Bow your head.
Whoa! Hearing my knowledge! Emerge. Come on now. Right now.
Silence! The tides beckon.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Commit it to memory.
Settle down.
It's fine.
Hey!
Into the wind.
Emerge. Right now. Emerge. This may hurt a little.
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror.
Mirror me. What do you...
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait, the people will all be dissolved into...
Oh, very good.
What's going on?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't. I will tell you.
Oh, as for the suffering. But if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales, with all the people...
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. That's right. You must... If you can keep it up, then I...
But...
Don't worry. Being a human, remember...
So...
Do a cut.
A trial. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. But this... What should I say to most of... Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And what I'm sure you've all heard about how... In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, this... I thought I might stammer.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Right. Calm down, Farina. Assertive, with a strong... Now, I was wondering if some... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to... You may consider my previous act. Now then, let us...
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me... The scales of... May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us... No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they... There is... So long as I...
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, besides.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial.
That's true,
No need for fright. And do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? All right.
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too.